Gus from
Yeah.
the Stroppies.
Hi.
Firstly, a huge thank you for bringing some Australian sunshine with you.
Of course.
Much appreciated.
It's my first priority.
And in terms of the rest of the band, it's yourself on guitar and occasionally vocals as well, I'm right in saying. And who are the rest of the guys?
I've got Claudia Safati, who's my partner on bass, guitar and vocals. We've got Adam Hewitt on guitar and Rory Heen on drums.
Okay, now I think people will probably pick up quite quickly on the Australian accent.
Yeah.
However, that said, it's kind of a UK conception to the Stroppies, isn't it? How did all that come about?
I was touring in a band about 4 years ago. We played a show in London with a band called Primetime that Claudia sang for, and we met and started a long distance relationship against all better judgment, and she ended up moving to Melbourne, and through sort of us forming a relationship, the band sort of formed around that. We got some of our friends, just people that we liked.
Okay, so Adam and Rory were Melbourne based as well?
Yeah. I mean,
were they previously friends of yours anyway, or you knew them from the music scene?
I've known Rory since I was 17 maybe.
Yeah.
We've both been playing in bands, and it's very incestuous, and sort of there's a lot of cross-pollination in Melbourne.
Exactly the same in Bristol, actually.
Yeah.
Our music scene is incredibly vibrant, but there's so much crossing over between the bands and things like that.
Best possible way, you know? It's
absolutely.
just like the sort of ecology of idea sharing, you know. I think it makes for much better music.
So I've described, I did a preview for you guys on Total Bristol on the Bristol Gig guide.
Yeah.
I've described you from what I know is basically really catchy, uplifting melodies, overlaid with slightly melancholier angst lyrics. Is that fair?
Yeah,
I'd say
so.
Description?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of my favourite sort of artists, whether sort of intentionally or intentionally. Oh wait, did I say intentionally or intentionally? I mean, intentionally or unintentionally.
Unintentionally, intentionally.
Yeah. Sort of pair the sort of pristine and happy with the morose, you know. I mean,
it's a great contrast.
It's a great, I think all good art's built on contrast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I think, you know, anxious, sort of awkward people are often drawn towards, I guess, sort of anxious, awkward guitar pop. So that's just sort of the music we ended up making.
So all four of you, from a personality sort of point of view, is that how you would describe yourselves as well, or is that just something
probably projecting a bit from myself onto everyone else? But I fundamentally, you know, I think we're all try and be sort of modest and careful with the way we do things. We don't want to
keep you grounded.
Yeah, somewhat, I guess.
Yeah,
I think
nothing wrong with that.
Australia will do that to you.
Yeah, actually, I'd say I've got a lot of Australian friends, and tend to be, generally, even the people that have done really well for themselves, tend to be the most grounded individuals that I've come across from a nationality point of view.
Yeah. I think there's
huge generalisation there. But
well, no, totally.
I
think that's somewhat apt. There's definitely a kind of collective sort of cultural tall poppy syndrome, for better and for worse, I think. You know, and maybe somewhat inherited from the British, I'm not sure, but this kind of, I guess everyone minds their P's and Q's a bit. It's a little,
kind of got the same self-deprecating humour as well.
Yeah.
New album.
Yep.
Whoosh.
Yes.
March 2019. I think I'm right in saying it was released.
Yeah.
So looking down the track list, there's not actually a track called Whoosh.
No.
So where did that come from? Why was the album titled that?
I guess I like the idea of, like, I came up with the title, and I think the idea of something sort of obtuse and non-descriptive that kind of doesn't point to any particular thing. It just sort of conjures up an idea, I guess, of movement, or sort of you know, and it's an I can't say it. Onomatopoeia, I think that's how you pronounce it. Is a word that sort of a word that sounds like what it is. It describes. You know what I mean? I just think that's a kind of.
This is a good fit, basically.
Yeah, it's nifty, you know.
There's a story behind this one. My favourite track, Cellophane Car.
Okay, cool.
Reason for that: are you familiar with a kid's story called "We're Going on a Bear Hunt"?
Only through having written the song, because
that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
But you know, I I mean, that's what the turn of phrase and the lyrics in the song, like, you can't get over it, you can't get under it, you can't get around it, sort of thing. So that, in my mind, it must have been there in the sort of recesses of my mind as a nursery rhyme or something, because I did know that it was drawing from a nursery rhyme.
Because it's absolutely meant that the song's jammed in my head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it works in that way.
Yeah. But that was the thing, is that I couldn't have named what it was from, but I did know in my head that it had some sort of, it was in the recesses of my childhood somewhere, you know.
Okay.
I knew it like that, yeah.
And onto the tour itself. So I follow you guys on Instagram and on Facebook anyway. And it looks like you've had a hell of a time over here. Looks like
really
the whole tour has just gone pretty much according to plan. Any particular highlights at all at the moment?
Glasgow was probably my favourite.
About halfway through at the minute?
Probably
just
three
over?
quarters, almost.
Just over.
I don't know, yeah, I think about that 3/4. We've got about 4 shows left. But Glasgow was my highlight. Mainly being that I come from in my family there's not sort of deep roots in terms of its, you know, maybe my mum or dad would disagree, but as far as I know, it doesn't stretch much further back than my grandparents and my great-grandparents. I don't know a lot more about that, but my grandmother was sent over in a ship from Glasgow when she was a child. Okay. So, you know, for me that was, there was something sort of, it felt special to go there, and it was lovely that that was a sellout show, which was surreal.
Awesome. Yeah, there's been a couple of sellouts on the tour, wouldn't there? I think London as well is going to be a sellout as well.
Yeah.
Big crowd as well for this evening.
Yeah,
so it's all looking really, really good.
I feel very blessed.
And in terms of the differences between playing back home to an Australian crowd and playing to either a European or a British crowd, is there anything noticeable at all?
I think I think probably fundamentally no, but I think the fact that there's probably an illusion of importance that stems from coming overseas. You know what I mean? I mean, perhaps
it's a bit of notoriety and.
I don't know. I just know that music that I heard growing up, living in Australia, that, you know, was probably made by people who were exactly the same as me, always felt like it carried a lot more weight because it was coming from somewhere far away. You know what I mean? And so I think in terms of coming over here, you know, people are buying tickets to the shows and they've heard the record, and you know, they can't go see us on the weekend like people in Melbourne can. So there's, you know, in that regard, it's been really, you know, the audiences have been awesome. They've been really lovely.
I was going to say, actually, UK reception to the Stroppies, has it surprised you? Because it seems like you guys have already picked up a pretty sizable following in the UK.
Very much so.
If you toured before in the UK, or is this
not
the first time?
Yeah,
so to pick up the size following that you have, it just is a testament to where the band is going.
Yeah, it's quite unbelievable. We all feel a bit dumbfounded by it, but, you know, not complaining. It's awesome.
Long way to come. Are you guys making sure you've got some downtime between the tours to sort of explore the cities, or is it pack, unpack, play? It really is relentless.
Yeah, it's just non-stop. So, I mean, we did have last night off, and because Claudia's from London originally, we luckily have a parents' house as a base, which so we get a home cooked meal.
That's not a bad way to spend it on.
Goes a long way in this circumstance, but. Yeah, it's been pretty flat out.
Pretty relentless. I think you've added another date as well in Ipswich. Is it, at the end, so you've got a little bit of a gap between London and Ipswich, so get some downtime. Is that so you can explore sort of London?
I guess so.
Things,
just recover. I've sort of been keeping it, for the most part, on the straight and narrow, but London's sort of our, like, once we've done a show, we can have a bit of a, you know...
Yeah, I think you've probably earned it by that time. So I was going to say, actually, and you kind of alluded to it there, logistically for a band from Australia, from Melbourne, Australia, to plan a European tour when you're an up-and-coming band, logistically and expense-wise, that must be an absolute minefield, is it?
Yeah, it's a really intense thing to do. We've been very lucky to have support in terms of our label, and we initially booked this tour. I started booking it myself, but we had a booking agency pick us up, Smith, which has been massively helpful. But even then, still, you know, I mean, we all work jobs. We don't. This is now
full-time.
This isn't our living wage. Yeah. So it's, you know, I always said that music's just a hobby that will kill me eventually.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
So my other gig's photography, so
there you
it's
go.
a case where I also do
yeah.
a job at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I know where you're coming from.
I think it's good. I think you know, I think there's a lot of value in menial labour and sort of there's meditative quality to doing something that's maybe you don't identify with so strongly.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's dishwashing or, you know,
yeah, it goes back to what you were saying earlier about a base grounding. Just to keep yourselves, you're going to get to a stage where you're going to get the adulation of the crowds, and you're going to get bigger because you guys are talented enough. And it's nice to know that you guys are trying to keep yourselves sort of grounded in that way.
Yeah,
as much as you can do, anyway.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it comes back to that tall poppy Australian thing as well. You don't want to stick your head too far over the parapet or whatever. I
mentioned earlier that in terms of your notoriety, and bearing in mind it's your first European tour, that BBC Six Music, who are like the champions of new music in the UK, is such a big gig to get.
Yeah, why is it BBC Six and not BBC One? Is that kind of
radio? You've got the commercial stations, and then you've got a couple of sort of add-on stations that are very very niche. And Six Music, which we've almost lost actually at one stage, is kind of. It's kind of that out there kind of for the creatives, artisan. It's got that kind of reputation.
Yeah.
So for you guys to be invited on your first European tour to do a full set live session must have been fantastic.
Unbelievable.
How did that come about?
Dumb luck, I think. Just
really?
Mark Riley started playing the record, you know.
Yeah, he's a big fan of yours, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's championed you quite a bit.
He did, and it's, you know, I think we, you know, have him probably to thank solely in terms of just facilitating enough interest for us to come over here. You know, we don't like. It's a difficult thing to articulate. It's not that we're not aspirational, but we've never, and maybe this is a testament to how lucky we are, but I don't feel like we've ever really gone out of our way to make anything happen. It's just that whenever an opportunity's presented itself, we've maybe approached it with, you know, a bit of intensity and sort of like, this seems like a good thing to do. So you know, we're sort of we're pretty sort of dumbstruck by the support that we've gotten.
But that's a good sign. So if you're not actively seeking these opportunities, but these opportunities are coming to you, that again is a testament to people want to see the Stroppies.
Totally.
People are interested in what you guys are doing on a you know, a music by music basis.
Yeah.
So that and
that's very lovely if that's the case. Yeah.
In terms of the band name, the Stroppies.
The Stroppies, yeah.
So 2 parts to that. One, why the Stroppies, and then secondly, because they're not here and you can get away with it, one of you must be the Stroppiest. Who is the Stroppiest Stroppy?
Oh, I dare not say.
They won't see it until you're back in Australia.
Spend enough time with us and you'll know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll leave it at that. The name though came from actually. Our friend Steph, who was originally in the band with us and made the first record with us, but had to bow out just because she's a mother now, and obviously what we're doing isn't conducive of sort of present motherhood.
Yep.
But she just came up with a name, and you know, we were just playing around a kitchen table and, you know, messing around, so we just like, oh, that works.
Yeah.
And here we are.
It seems to have done you no harm up until now.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Quite well.
You know, yeah.
And for the rest of 2019, you're going to finish this tour. We're only in July. We've got another half of the year to go.
Madness.
What else is planned?
I'm coming back.
Oh, really?
But
this year?
Yeah, but not to the UK. We're doing sort of Amsterdam and Germany and Denmark, and I'm just sort of rattling off the things that appear in my brain. I can't remember fully, but yeah. So we'll be back in Europe.
What sort of time of year? September?
September, yep. And then we will hunker down and just work on some stuff, probably.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for your time, sir. Really
course,
looking forward to the set tonight. I'm going to take a few shots, and we'll keep in touch with you guys.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate the interview.
Thank you, yes.
No, my pleasure, man.